Everybody, give it up for the one, the only Seth MacFarlane, please.
Look at this. They love you.
Yeah, I don't know about
They
that.
love you. You were like self-conscious, and they love
Yeah,
you.
well, I was backstage, like, I'm freaking out.
No, you're freaking out. I sneezed before I got
Oh
out
my
here.
God. All right, I love it. Yeah, I've never like narrated something like
Really?
this. Yeah,
You're a rapper. That's all you do.
I guess so. But usually it's like, "Da motherfucker." No, I'm just kidding. It's not. It's very positive, actually. Yes. Okay, I guess you're in for a show tonight. Yeah, man.
Man.
But thank you for having me. It means a lot. And I say let's get into these awesome questions and conversation about this wonderful album.
Great. Sounds good to me.
Isn't it so weird? It's just Brian talking. This guy. All right. Anyway, no, seriously. I'm serious, Brian. Anyway, okay. I'm sorry. We're here for something else.
Are we, though?
Yeah.
Are we ever?
Exactly. This is like a fucking dating game right now. Oh, did I cuss? Yikes. Sorry. Shit. Oh,
That's two.
sorry
That's
about that.
two. Wow.
Damn it.
I just want to
That
point
one's
I
not
haven't
so bad.
sworn once.
Yeah, you should have heard him backstage. It was crazy. Okay, what are we doing? Look, this is literally a dating game. What does this album mean to you? Huh?
Not to get too serious. No, this was an extraordinary opportunity when we were given the opportunity to look through these charts by the fabulous Tina Sinatra, who's here tonight, who is a dear
Make
friend.
some noise.
And a
once again.
magnificent lady. We were told that this was, first of all, contained all of the original charts over the course of the many, many decades of his career, and also some charts that had never been recorded by Sinatra. And that was just tantalizing. And so my longtime partner and composer, Joel McNeely.
Hell
and
yeah.
I-
Make some noise for Joel.
Yes, Joel
Joel's
McNeely.
man.
Put together an orchestra, went over to the Newman stage on the Fox lot, and just played a bunch of these charts. And many of these were from the quote-unquote golden era, from the late 50s, early 60s. These were Nelson Riddle, Don Costa, Billy May, Gordon Jenkins charts that no one had ever heard, that had been sitting in boxes for decades. And Give Me the Simple Life, which was the first song on the album, was one of the first charts that we played. And from the second you hear it, it gave us all chills because it's so obviously Nelson Riddle, but we'd never heard it. No one had heard it. And so we went through these boxes and we narrowed it down to about like 15 or so charts that we thought were.
When was this? Like when? Like,
This
and how did
was
that
about
happen?
maybe-
Sorry,
this
not
was
to interrupt.
Probably
but,
about 5 years ago now.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
4 or 5 years ago.
What was it? Just like finding like. The
I
Ark-
don't
Ark of
remember
the
if it was
Covenant?
before
it like
or
Indiana
after.
Jones?
Yeah,
Like,
yes,
how
exactly.
How did it happen?
Our faces melted off. Yes,
Oh,
that's
okay.
how excited we were. I don't remember if it was before or after COVID. I will say that. It was before? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Joel.
Nice.
It's good to have one sober person here. But it was before COVID. So my God, we were so innocent. And it was an extraordinary experience to go through and hear these. It's like eating an entire bag of M&Ms and then go, oh my God, there's a few more at the bottom of the bag. And it was really, really special. And it was, it's these long dead arrangers of colossal talent who are kind of speaking to you from beyond the grave from these little sheets of paper. And it was just the gravity of that moment was not lost on any of us, me included.
Amazing. So you said this grand discovery was 5 years ago. Kind of getting all this stuff together. Why now? Why at this present moment? Was it time to do it?
Well, because that's when we were offered the charts, man. We didn't even know they were fucking there.
True.
No, it's look, I mean, this kind of music is interesting because it was created when the people writing it and the people orchestrating it were surrounded by music of this type. So everyone was kind of feeding off of everyone else. It's why, it's tough to kind of find somebody today who can write Edelweiss or who can write, I've Got You Under My Skin. It's just a different. Everyone was kind of in a different headspace, and so, there's an argument to be made that we're due for an injection of this kind of music. It's just purely uplifting. It makes you feel good. It comes from an era of high musicality that was of a very specific tone, and look, every time we do an album of this kind, I'm always shocked when anyone wants to listen to it because I love this stuff. I mean, that music moves me to a large degree, and to hear this stuff that has never been heard before was it felt like the timing was kind of profound.
Amazing. Damn, you kind of answered this next question I was about to ask.
What's the next question?
But I know
There's a lot of words on that next card.
Look, first of all, don't judge me.
It's not a book report, man.
At least I came prepared. All right, I got here before he got here. I rap. I should be late. It should be okay.
There's like 8 paragraphs. The novel I chose to read was Oliver Twist.
Oh my God.
The book was actually not bad.
Let me just say, I love that you do the thing. It's really cool because some people are like, I don't want to do the thing. And people are like, do it. And they're like, no. And you're just like, Lois. It's great.
No, shameless.
It's
shameless.
Wonderful. All right. Although you've written and performed a lot of original music, I love how it looks like I'm not prepared. I'm very prepared. I'm just reading, so I don't.
He is very prepared.
Although you've written and performed a lot of original music, what would you say draws you to doing covers of classic songs? I do think that is a real art form that you're keeping alive and making each original composition new with your rendition being a very specific style.
Yeah, well, there's 2 reasons. One, there's a long tradition of it. I mean, Sinatra, while he did write a certain number of songs or co-wrote a certain number of songs, the vast majority of the songs that he sang were interpreted, were songs that were written by other songwriters that he made his own. And oftentimes these were songs that were written in the 1920s and 1930s, and then by the 50s had been, in some cases, relatively forgotten. And he brought them back and made them new again. So that's one reason. I mean, the other reason is that, I've sat down and tried, and I know Joel feels the same way. We've sat down and tried to kind of write Edelweiss, write, My Favorite Things, write Singin' in the Rain, write Blue Moon, and it's just really difficult. It's not easy, and you see that no one else is able to do it either. I mean, there's some great music out there now, no question, but this thing that they were able to do back then, where it's just kind of pure melody, it doesn't really exist within a specific genre. If you listen to a song like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, it's not jazz, it's not pop, it's not anything. It's just a pure melody, and that's something that just kind of doesn't exist anymore. And so it's tough to find, and again, that's a lot of the music that I find very affecting and moving when I listen to it, performed by others. So to kind of find hidden gems that ideally people haven't recorded, most of the albums that Joel and I have done contain songs that are a little, outside the norm. But that's what Sinatra did. I mean, he hunted down. So I mean, look at a song like "Fly Me to the Moon." It was a ballad when it was first recorded, and he turned it into an up-tempo tune, and that's the one that we all remember.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Also, my neck is like on fire from just looking this. I'm sorry. I'm not ignoring anyone, but I'm like, all right.
What's going on?
I'm looking at you like this the whole time, and I'm like, my God, I need to.
There's a little rosacea there.
It's fine. I'm fine. Okay.
Did you sneeze?
I didn't. I'm fine. All right. This next one's like insanely long. It's a two-part. It's like, or it's not two-part. It's one. Okay. I don't know why they picked me. Okay. I don't know why they picked me.
No, you're doing great.
It's fine.
Isn't he doing great? He's doing fantastic.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Also, yeah, one time, like, big shout out to the Grammy Museum, everybody who made this possible tonight. Please make some noise. This is very special. Really awesome. Thank you. I was nominated, never got it, though. Thank you, though. No, it's a joke. All right, I feel like TV and film definitely pays the bills.
Join the club, buddy.
Yeah.
We're both losers up here.
It's fine. Maybe we should, we'll do an album and then we'll win it together.
There you go.
Well, we are doing that. So people who don't know that, we actually are making an album together, which is cool. And it's actually in my court now because he'd done just kind of like the majority of these classic songs that I don't want to give away, and had it all, put together the way he would do an album, and then he gave it to me so I can basically like fuck it up and put a bunch of hip hop drums and stuff.
You can make it into something that actually sells.
Oh, yes. It's. So anyway, I feel like TV and film pay the bills, so you can explore your true passion, which is music. And I find that funny because music pays my bills to fund my great passion of making movies. I don't know how I'm making this about myself. I know what that journey has been like for me. I sound like I'm in school reading. I know what that journey has been like for me, and it's no easy matter. Why did I write it like this?
I gotta take a leak.
Yeah, exactly. I know what that journey's been like for me, and it's not easy no matter how big you are in one field. You start out nearly invisible in another. And only true talent allows one to shine amongst their idols.
Will there be a midterm?
And contemporaries. Okay, here's what I should have done. How have you found traversing the music industry? Brandon, where's my manager? How did you let me do this? I winged it, dude. I was like, I got on a plane. I missed my family. They're like, do this thing. I'm like, all right, I'll come.
You didn't even have time to dress up for this event, did you?
This is Dior. What you talking about? I am wearing jeans. Anyway, all right. How have you found traversing the music industry? What the hell?
I found traversing the music industry. It's amazingly, this is one of these situations where I've never experienced anything like it in any other part of my work. You all right?
Sorry, dude.
Your
It's
neck's
church
getting
laughs,
redder.
man. I'm so sorry. Okay,
no, it's
continue.
okay. No, it's okay.
All right.
We're relatively left alone. It's like they call and they ask, "What's the album you're working on?" We tell them, and then we, Joel and our engineer Rich Breen, fabulously talented guy, the orchestra. We put it all together, and then we hand it in, and then
just say
that's
fuck
it.
off.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And
I mean,
you put it out?
they just kind of leave us to our own devices.
That's cool.
So it's been really kind of a blissful experience.
Yeah, I mean it really sounds. I know what that's like, and I don't take it lightly at all when you can create something that you love and put it out.
Do you get a lot of notes when you turn a record in?
Definitely not.
No,
I only ever got one note, and it wasn't even from somebody on my label. It was just like this random A&R guy who came in one night, and I played him like my first album, which I think is a hip hop classic personally, and he comes and he listens to this whole album about like my upbringing and the tragedies and all the things that I overcame to make it out of the hood and being black and looking white.
Right. Yeah, join the club, but
It's crazy. And he listens to this and he goes, "Where's the girl record?" And I go, what? And he goes, you need a girl record. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you need a song for the ladies. And I was like, this guy is an idiot. That was the only note I ever got.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Where's the? Did you write a song to acquiesce?
Actually, I wrote a song called Nikki, but that's not why I did it. I had already had this idea, and it's about you know, it sounds like I'm talking about this woman, but I'm actually talking about my addiction to nicotine and kind of doing it more like a breakup song.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He wasn't wrong, but that guy's an idiot. It's fine. He's fine. It's fine. Anyway, is there a difference in the way you work on an album as opposed to a film or television show, or is it kind of generally the same?
It is as specific and just as sweat-inducing. There's a thing that happens.
What?
This is interesting because when you're a musician, and by the way, Bobby has a very, very funny movie that he made that I saw that's just brilliant, and he's not only a brilliant musician but a brilliant actor as well, which shocked the hell out of me.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's just a wonderful, wonderful film, and funny,
So sweet of
and
you.
charming, and smart, and
Thanks. Yeah, it's called Paradise Records. It'll be out this year. Yeah,
but there is a thing, like if you're a musician who chooses to then, make that transition into film, into acting, people are kind of there for it. They're ready. They're ready to kind of give you that, that chance. It doesn't really work the other way. You got somewhere to be?
No, I'm just trying to make sure I don't go over.
I'm kidding. I'm
this
kidding,
guy.
man. I'm kidding. You got to work with.
There's so many things in my head. It's like, don't do this, and they're like, you got to
look,
usher
man.
out and come here and do this, and I'm like, I don't want to mess it up.
That's what Stanislavski taught me. Like you have to respond to all the cues. But there's a thing that happens on the other side where it doesn't necessarily work that way. If you are in another branch of entertainment and you get into music, there's a sense that it's kind of a side gig. And it couldn't be less true with what we do. We pour ourselves into this music. It's so important that this is as great as possible. I put as much sweat into these albums as I ever have into Family Guy or Ted or anything else. It's a pure joy, and it's definitely a much more intimate kind of thing. You're not surrounded by a crew of 100 people, but it's worth. And again, I don't know how much it matters to the listeners, but it certainly matters to us, and we love doing it.
I have this. There's one of my favorite quotes from Alan Watts. I say it all the time. A philosopher, anything you can be interested in, you'll find others who are. And I've really lived like my creative being through that, and I can attest to that, man. Because at 35 years old, like I am not in love with music anymore. I love music, but my greatest passion is my family and was my family for, these last 5 years, having kids and stuff. And I have rediscovered that passion that I used to feel in the beginning of music and wanting to conquer something in film, and I'm sure you feel that. You have accomplished a lot, a lot, like a lot. And so it's really cool that you have this thing that you love and that you enjoy. I think it's what, keeps us sane, man. You need that thing for you. So, yeah, you're awesome.
Just gonna. Fuck, you're 35.
I mean, I could show you my hairline.
You think this feels good? Wait till you wake up from your first colonoscopy. Let me tell you.
God.
That's when life begins.
Okay, all right. So anyway, how was it? It's all a bit.
What's next, Logic?
It's a bit. It's all. Come on, we're doing a bit.
What's next, Logic?
Oh,
there you go. Oh yeah, you love that.
I do. It's great. I'm playing this show in a couple weeks, and I'm getting a tattoo there. And we were just backstage.
We just discussed it backstage.
Yeah, and he was looking at all my really
a lot of tattoos. Do you have a Futurama tattoo and a Simpsons tattoo? And a tattoo of the logo from the Goonies.
Yeah.
And a Dragon Ball Z tattoo.
Uh-huh. And he was like, and there's
And
no...
the tattoo that just says supermarket, which I'm just noticing just now.
Yeah.
And what looks to be an electric guitar.
Yes. What are you doing? It just keeps going. Anyway, as I was saying, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you don't got none of my shit on your body." And then I was like, "Whoa!"
I wasn't talking about tattoos, my friend.
Oh my god. Wait, are we still talking about the colonoscopy or? So anyway, I was like, "You should," and like he finished my sandwich, and he was like, I should, yes, I'll do it. Don't worry. And he's gonna draw Brian holding a martini, and I'm gonna get it tattooed. So it's sweet.
Yeah.
I know. We're besties now. It's weird. Okay, all right. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. What do we have? We're still good. All right. I'm okay. All
The
right.
light's still green.
Okay. Well, all right. Anyway.
Is that the finger, or are you telling us that?
No. How was it working with Frank Sinatra Jr.? I know you both spent a lot of time together, and without question, introduced him and his music to an entirely new generation. On screen.
Yeah, he was. I had seen him on The Sopranos, and I thought, well, if he did The Sopranos, maybe he would do a show that's won just as many Emmys like Family Guy. So he called and asked if he would come do the show, and he did, and he was great, and he was just a game player every step of the way, and introduced me to some orchestras that I'd never heard of. The Sauter-Finnegan Orchestra. Frank Jr. introduced me to that. He was just kind of an encyclopedia of just great old music that you wouldn't otherwise have been exposed to. And the quirk about him that I remember the most, that I just kind of loved, was that he and it always made me feel like I was younger than I am, is that he would assume that anything that happened prior to my birth I was unaware of.
That's
and
funny.
so he said...
Yeah, but you do that to me.
He said to me... Yes, right, I do, yes, yeah. He said to me one day, "Seth, there was a very famous director before you were born named Sir Alfred Hitchcock." And... And it's a, yes, I know he is, but I kind of admired the willingness of him to entertain the fact that I might not know who he was talking about.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wait, can you? You said he was on the show. What? What show was he on?
It was on Family Guy.
No, the other one.
The Sopranos.
That's how you know you're rich, when you say Sopranos.
Oh, this again. This
what
again.
Kind of shit is
Here
that?
we go.
It's Sopranos.
I get this all the time.
I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
know what we
It's
say?
Sopranos.
You know what? I get this all the time from my aunt, and it's You know what's funny? I'm not even faking that. That's how we say it in Connecticut. My aunt.
All right.
Yeah, my aunt.
Yeah, you're weird. All right. Anyway, no, it's great. This is a bit. It's going well. I clearly have one card left, so somebody just make note of this, because I have no idea what's happening after this. So once again, not trying to make this about me at all. I mean, it can't be
too late, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know, it's fine. So when I was working on my film, I was so lucky and blessed.
What's the name of the film?
It's called Paradise Records.
Paradise Records.
Paradise Records.
Paradise Records. Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Where can we find Paradise Records?
It's not out yet, but just you know what I mean. No, but seriously. So we did our sound at Skywalker Ranch, which is completely. It's totally legendary. I can't believe I got in. It's amazing, and it is so beautiful, and they have all these cool cottages, and it's wild. You know, it's like one black guy. I'm like, what is this? This is like, we're really in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's what they were all saying, Bobby.
That's yeah, yeah, it's true. Anyway, this is great. How was it? How was your experience? Being there. Was that your first time? What was it like recording? What was the space like?
I love that place. Skywalker Ranch is like, we wrote most of the screenplay for Ted there. Skywalker Ranch is it's an incredible place. There's little cottages. They give you your own kindling and firewood. You got to build your own fire. You got to bring your own groceries.
Yeah, wild.
Make your own food.
I mean, you didn't bring your own groceries. Somebody. That's a joke. Okay, I'll shut up. Please continue.
But they're bicycles. You can ride up into the mountains and all that. It's an amazing place, and they have an extraordinary sound stage, and that's where we recorded this record. And we had half musicians from Los Angeles because LA is underratedly filled with some of the greatest musicians on the planet. And we use them every week on Family Guy, American Dad, and soon The Orville.
Yeah.
Just testing the waters. And then our conductor, John Wilson, who I had performed with years ago at Royal Albert Hall in London, brought some of his players over. And so it was like casting. And casting an orchestra is no different than casting a movie or a TV show. It's exactly the same because every single player brings something to that ensemble, even if it's 70 or 80 musicians. Every single player is cast based on their ability, and that's why this album sounds the way it does. And I lament the absence of the contract orchestras that existed in the 40s, 50s, and 60s and before, where you had orchestras that were 90 to 100 players at times who went into work every day, and the person sitting next to them was the same person that sat next to them the day before. And so what you had was an ensemble of 80 players that sounded as tight as a jazz combo of 6. And that's what we tried to do with this record. And Joel insisted, as he often does, that we have rehearsal time. We build that into the budget. Let's rehearse. Let's not just come in and do this on the day. Let's treat this like it really matters. And so there were how many days did we rehearse? We rehearsed for 3 days, before we even put anything down on tape. And a lot of it is on literal tape, because our engineer, Rich Breen, who's also just a visionary, figured out this is what happens when you do these kinds of albums over 15 years. You start to figure, like, what is it that makes those songs that we love so much sound the way they do? And it's not just one thing. It's a lot of little things. And one of those things is the warmth of reel-to-reel tape. And we've been doing that for years as well. Reel-to-reel tape, as strange as it sounds, that little bit of hiss for this kind of music, that thing that is so divorced from the digital, really matters.
Are you like starting in Pro Tools? Are you running it all to tape? Are you kind of printing to give it that feeling after its creation?
We have. I remember us being at Abbey Road and looking over.
Wow, what a flex!
There's like a real.
So
there's a
gangster.
reel-to-reel tape that somebody had hauled up from the basement, a reel-to-reel tape machine, two of them, that was rolling the whole time, and it's again, and that's not the only thing that there's about 1 billion different. It's how you mic the orchestra, it's the players that you cast. It's a lot of different things that all add up to make this sound. And you hear a lot of jazz that is beautifully arranged that somehow doesn't work in the recording because it sounds antiseptic and homogenized. And our goal was to kind of get that warmth that you hear when you hear these old recordings.
Amazing. I think before we bring Joel up, I'm just a little curious. Like this, it's like a masterpiece, man. It's beautiful. It was so incredibly well done, and it is a vision that you bring to light. You're the captain on this ship, and you have so many amazing people that work with you, in achieving this goal and this vision. And I just first and foremost want to say I think you all did a fantastic job. Yeah, I really do. Shout out Joel. What do you feel? Again, obviously we're staying on this, but like after such a beautiful artistic achievement,
The light's yellow.
All right,
The
everybody.
light- The light is yellow.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Serenade me. I guess it's just like Did you ever have a moment where you were like, "This is it. I'm gonna drop the mic. Like this, we're going out on top," kind of a vibe?
No, never, never.
Okay.
That's
That's
where,
just rappers.
that's where my New England upbringing comes into play. And no, I assume that everything I do is just going to fail miserably.
All right, me
Yeah,
too. I'm
yeah.
freaked out all the
Yeah,
time.
I think that pushes me harder. I've never gotten over that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
not even kidding. That's kind of my mindset. I know it's depressing. I'm in therapy. It's all good. I'm okay. I'm fine. Just
All right. So anyway, that's yeah. All right, everybody.
you have a Bob's Burgers tattoo? What the fuck?
No,
man?
it's not a Bob's Burgers. Let's bring up the goat. You got to bring him up. You got that voice.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, God, I have worked with this guy on a million different projects, including A Million Ways to Die in the West, just about every album I've ever produced, and he's produced with me. The Orville, he's written some of the best scores for that show. American Dad, he has scored decades of American Dad. And when I was in college, I listened to his scores on the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles and became an instant fan. The great Joel McNeely.
Wow. Is it on? Oh, I think it is. I think they just turned it on.
Is it on?
Yes.
There you go.
Wow. Well, what is wrong with this picture? Me being up here.
No.
I'm up here because there are so many cool, unique arrangements on this record, and I would really love to talk through one of them. Like, let's go to a little bit of music school without getting too technical, because I think it's so incredible. This particular arrangement, the title track, "Lush Life," and each one of these arrangements has its own story, why they were not performed, when they were written. They all have their own story. But this one is particularly interesting to me. And it's because, well, for two reasons. Number one, it's because it's the only one where they touched on in the mini doc that it's the only one we have a little bit of a surviving blueprint from Frank Sinatra. And the other one is because it's this wild conceptual arrangement, which I would give anything to ask Nelson Riddle about. So much of what I'm going to talk about in analysis tonight is my own speculation of what he was doing. It was, as they said, originally intended for Only the Lonely, 1958. So the chart begins with a piano playing a begin, right? Not what you think about when you think of the ballad Lush Life, which is, widely thought about in jazz circles as a masterpiece. And maybe one of the hardest songs to sing.
What's a begin?
A begin.
Yeah, no, Begin the Begin, Cole Porter. But is there like a definition for a begin?
It's that kind of beat.
So it's like bossa nova before they discover the bossa nova.
Exactly.
Okay,
It's
got
a
it.
different kind of Latin beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a begin. And for whatever reason, now Nelson Riddle writes two pianos, and he wants them in different parts of the room. Why? Well, I'll speculate on why in a minute. But a second piano breaks up the begin, kind of like, no, out of the way, playing ragtime. Why? Okay, well, and Riddle writes in the score, pianos should be in contrasting perspectives to one another on the beginning and the end. And he later explained that these pianos were meant to evoke the experience of walking down an alley in Paris and hearing music come from different cafes as you proceed down the alley, and you're hearing music wafting out of one and then another. And in a very kind of Charles Ives kind of way, you're hearing this kind of music concrete kind of smashing together of different pieces. Then the orchestra comes in with this flurry, this flutter. And I take that to mean, okay, the dream, the memory is over. Here now we're getting into the song. We're going to tell you this story. And so these pianos, they come back through the arrangement, continually interrupting, like I've come to think of them as fragments of memory that kind of interject themselves along in almost, just non sequitur ways. They just, like, in the middle of a phrase, suddenly you'll hear the piano just kind of coming in for no musical reason. So anyway, through this project, I've thought of these pianos as ghost pianos. That's what I call them. Another thing about this arrangement that I wanted to bring up is one of the greatest things to do in recording something is to do something in a fluid tempo. We call this, as musicians, we call this rubato. That's where it's everybody in the moment. It's orchestra, it's conductor, and singer.
And everybody has to be in the same room at the same time for it to work.
And everybody has to be in the same room.
There's no way to do it in post.
And that's what this arrangement is. It's just rubato. It's beginning to end, everybody participating in the moment. There's no click track possible. And I believe that one of the main reasons that the Sinatra original recording fell apart, didn't happen, faltered, was that Riddle, as we mentioned, wasn't there, couldn't be there, because of the specificity of this arrangement, because of the deep conceptual thing. Riddle was the only one who had it in his head, except for Frank Sinatra, I believe, because we know Frank Sinatra never came to a recording session unprepared. He knew exactly what he was going to sing. He knew the tempo. They talked over the keys. They talked over everything, and he was there ready to do it in maximum 2 takes, right? Game on. And you'll hear them struggle. And I believe that, you listen to the surviving tapes and you hear Felix Slatkin, the father of Leonard Slatkin, the great conductor, who was the concertmaster for Nelson Riddle, first violinist. You'll hear him, he stepped in as conductor at the last minute, and you'll hear him struggling, and I want to point out where they're struggling. So let's listen. The first take is just the first 2 pianos, and it falls apart almost immediately. Okay, next. What the hell are we doing? Nobody's really sure because it's so conceptual. So in the second take, they take it further, but then you'll hear the woodwinds come in, and they get really behind Frank. Frank wants to push the tempo. He wants to move it along, and they get a beat behind and then a bar behind, and he says, okay, let's stop. So by the third take, they're able to push through much more of the chart, and they reach the second half of the verse, which I want to point out. I was talking about rubato. It's not entirely rubato because very cleverly, Nelson Riddle takes the song into a waltz on the second half of the verse. I've never heard it done as a waltz, going all the way back to the Billy Strayhorn original. And it's a lilting waltz, which I think was a nod to him trying to create a Parisian mood. So they go along, and still the orchestra drifts behind him until the take collapses. And Sinatra goes, man, this song is hard enough as it is. And he goes, but you've got some Clydes in there, which I love. And so Clydes, I've learned, was one of his favorite all-purpose terms for, wrong notes or tricky harmonies. He called them Clydes, which I love. And finally, he suggests they put it away for about a year, and it actually wound up being more than 50 years. Yeah.
When you get to that point in the song.
It's the hardest part of the song.
Yeah.
So that's the blueprint that was left to us, which is, not even half the song. But that's what we had. And then, so where do you take it from there? And where we take it from there is Seth and John Wilson and the orchestra. The collaboration between Seth and John Wilson of really finding the tempo and melding of the minds of the phrases they wanted to sing and really working out the musical phrases ahead of time so that when they got with the orchestra learned those phrases. John Wilson was following Seth exactly and watching his lips even as they were going along. So let's hear a little bit of the first part of Our Lush Life. And in this final clip, we'll play the end of the song. I just want to point out, we'll start off with, again, that waltz, which I just find so lovely. But
sorry, I had to follow Sinatra, so just going to...
Right, so here's the end of the one we did. And one thing I want to point out, which I just love so much, and you actually see me on the mini doc during that take when they did this, turning to my wife and grinning ear to ear, because you'll hear the final notes, those whose lives are lonely too, drawn out and drawn out and drawn out to where the orchestra was just mind melding with John Wilson and with Seth, and everybody was waiting for the next note. And I find it so deliciously in the moment and kind of stuff you can't ever duplicate unless everybody's doing it live. And then it ends with the ghost pianos, back to our ghost pianos, kind of fading into the ether, just like memories disappearing. Okay, I'm going to get out of here.
Wait. I have one question. Because, I mean, you were just on a roll and you were crushing it. What? Anyway, he was crushing it. So I didn't want to interrupt. I think it is so beautiful hearing the difference, from the original to this. These are clearly everyone, then and now are masters at what they do. People who have beyond reverence for the love of music and in specific this genre. My question to I guess the both of you, but starting with Joel, is how do you take something like that and continue to it still has its original flavor and feeling, and yet it now feels so completely reimagined and brand new. There's moments, between the two versions where I'm like, whoa, this part with the piano kind of almost I feel like I'm like, yeah, see, like I feel like it's like I'm back in the day, and that you recreated that. Don't laugh at me, Seth. Shut up. And it's so wonderful. But then when we talk about Lush Life, the lushness of these incredible musicians all coming together, man, you hear it. You really hear it. How is it that you can take that feeling and add your own flavor to it? What goes into that for both of you? But starting with Joel, where do you start, and how do you feel that you get to that finish line, and when do you know?
Well, first of all, the thing that I kept saying to myself over and over again with this is hallowed ground, right? Sacred, do not fuck this up. Really? I mean, because, pretty damn presumptuous of us to go in and take half of a Frank Sinatra classic and think, well, we can finish this, right? So you got to get it right. So that started with the casting Seth was talking about with the orchestra. Well, not even that. It started with the studio where we were going to do this. But then really important, the players. The players were everything. And then bringing John Wilson in, who's such a scholar of this music and can really bring that kind of authenticity to it. And then just really trying to be careful at every turn to be respectful to the original and try and get the intent of our best guess of what the original would be.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's. I mean, I can't add to that beyond echoing it. Yeah, it's. You hear what happens on the original, and the fact that this could have been something that was a legendary recording, and it's up to us to finish it. And it's that combination of not wanting to be a wax sculpture of what the original could have been, and honoring what it could have been at the same time. So it's putting some of yourself into it, and at the same time acknowledging that this is something. This is not quite a paint by number, but something not too far off.
Wow. Well, I think we all agree that you and everybody involved, without a doubt, accomplished that. And so congratulations. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Bobby. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here, but throughout the course of this project, many, many times we were describing this project to people, and the question came up, which seems like a simple question, but turns out it's for many people not. What is an arrangement? And so, I think the best way to describe what an arrangement is I like to compare a song to a story. The story itself, the melody, the lyric, that remains the essence, right? But then how that story is told, the arrangement can take on almost limitless variations, kind of the clothes that the song is dressed up in, if you will. So to illustrate that, here's a bit of the song Wonderful Day Like Today from our record, from this record, arranged by the great Billy May. This arrangement is super fun. If you listen to it, it has screaming French horns in a big band, which you don't normally have, and timpani just banging out, which you don't normally have in a big band. Here's Wonderful Day Like Today, and then following that, Seth and the great Tom Rainier, pianist, are going to sing the song in a very different way. Okay? Hope you enjoy.
Right there. Oh, thank you for the lights. Appreciate it. Yes, what is your name? Lori, nice to meet you. What's your question?
What has been your favorite experience or moment during this entire journey?
Favorite experience or moment during this
You know,
journey?
I can, Joel can answer this for himself, but I suspect we have the same answer to this. It was that day on the Fox lot when we played these charts for the first time, and we got to hear the work of people that we, like Nelson Riddle, like Billy May, the people that we had long admired in a very big way. And there weren't a lot of people in that room. It was very informal in a lot of ways, and playing these charts for the first time ever since they were written decades ago was very, very special. And again, as I've said earlier tonight, was like hearing these great musicians that we all idolized speaking to us from the past. And that to me was the moment that resonates the most.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would say same. That moment Seth mentioned, "Give Me the Simple Life." I'm a flute player, and Nelson Riddle writes these signature flutes. They're so clever, and the way he writes them are so Nelson Riddle. And we were playing that chart, and I knew for a fact that he had never actually heard it. He'd written the arrangement and never even got to hear it. And so there we are, and those signature flutes come in the very first bar, and I'm hearing them for the first time, and he never got to hear them, and I just lit up. It was like he was in the room. It was just, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. It was indescribable. Very cool.
Sick. All right. Over here with the glasses, what's your name? Johnny, bravo, in the house.
I used to write on that show.
I know you did. That's why I said it.
Okay. When did you bring the toothpick with you?
Yeah, man.
When did that go in? I didn't even see that go in.
All right, Johnny. What's your question, sir?
It's like suddenly, I want my gas pumped.
All right. Hey, man. Anyway, Johnny.
Just
what's your question?
10 gallons of regular, please. Thanks.
I love it. This is a thing. This is happening.
So my question is, I know how you said you lamented how, a lot of the older orchestras, big, large groups, and, I teach the history of rock and roll course, and I was looking into how they kind of traveled together and all that stuff, and you guys rehearsed for 3 days. Was there, a bonding that kind of went on with all the group members together?
We were all really worried that everyone else had COVID.
It was funny, actually, because the English musicians were coming over here going, who the hell are we to be coming into Los Angeles, some of the greatest studio players in the world? And the greatest studio players in the world were these London musicians who are specialists in this kind of music. Who the hell are we? And what John Wilson did was he put one-on-one on a stand. Like if there were violins, he would put one English violinist and one L.A. violinist on the stand. By the end, by the sixth day, on the last day, not only were they best friends, but they were crying on the last session because they had all bonded and become such great friends. So it was magical.
And it's also, the English musicians I had played with when I went over to do John Wilson's show, and I guess it was 2013, with his orchestra. And the American musicians, obviously people like Tom Rainier, people like Chuck Berghofer, Pete Erskine, Larry Kuntz, these amazing players who I've gotten to know over the years. By that point, by the time we got to this, and I'm glad we didn't do this record 10 years ago. I'm glad we did it now, because at this point, every musician from, both continents, these halves of the orchestra were populated by people that I had worked with at a certain, I felt very comfortable at that point. They felt comfortable. I felt comfortable. We were all very close by that point, and so I think you hear it on the record. There are no contract orchestras anymore. As much as I would love there to be, I would love to walk onto the Fox lot every day and see the same players playing over and over and over. That's a time that I wish would come back, but and maybe someday it will. But this is the closest thing that we could approximate, and the bonding took place. Luckily, before we even got to the stage.
Great. How many questions do we have left, just so I know? 2,000? Great. All righty. Right here in the front. What's your name? Terry. Oh, that was my mother's name. Nice to meet you, Terry. What's your question?
My question is, Seth, on the 12 songs that we have on the album, do you have a favorite one that you just have so much passion when you sing it?
And I'm not alone on this. I love How Did She Look? Because Only the Lonely is probably my favorite Sinatra ballad album. I think it's Sinatra when his voice was at its peak. I think it's Nelson Riddle at his best orchestrally, as far as the arrangements that he crafted for that album. And it's interesting because I can imagine a scenario in which you find a number of these arrangements and they feel like arrangements that were cut for a reason. That okay, well, there's a reason this was cut. This wasn't good enough. And How Did She Look is an arrangement that that you listen to and you realize this really should have been on the record. And to hear Sinatra sing this would have been a classic recording. And I am regretful that he never recorded it, because he just would have knocked it out of the park. And so that chart is probably my favorite. I mean, we selected these things very, very carefully. There's a chart. What's the bossa nova chart? Not the bossa nova chart. The Beguine chart. Flying down. No. Yeah. Flying Down to Rio is special because it comes off of the Come Fly With Me album.
Yeah, I never felt.
I never felt this way before. Yeah, that is another Riddle chart that is so different and so special. There isn't one chart on this record that that we feel like is an afterthought. That was something that was not good enough to be on something. Every chart feels good enough to be on one of the classic records that we all love. But How Did She Look stands out as something that is meaningful to me, because I love that Only the Lonely album, and Nelson Riddle obviously is my favorite arranger of all time, and that's him at his best.
Amazing. Okay, don't be mad. I know it's the last one. I don't know. Don't be mad at me. I'm sorry. Okay, this guy right here. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Alan.
Alan. Wow, I like that voice. Sopranos. What's your
Hi,
question?
Alan. I'm Logic. What's the story? Morning Glory. What's the tale? Sorry, Alan. I'm sorry.
Keep going. So, speaking of keeping going, what is next? What is your next project? Are you going to do, like you promised a long time ago, to do a wedding album?
I did? Did I? When did I fucking promise to do a wedding album?
You're on your own with that one, pal. I'm out.
Years ago, and you said, yeah, maybe we'll do a wedding.
You asked me this question years ago? Where? I was here?
Yeah, 2015.
In 2015?
Yeah.
You've like remembered that? Are you married, Alan? No, but are you married? Okay, good. How long have you been married? Okay, that's great. Okay. But you were leading up to this, and I didn't put the album out in time. Because if we did the show in 2015, yeah. Okay. Well, I can understand the source of your rage, but okay, I get it, Alan. Getting right to the point. I guess we can talk. Well, yeah, sure. Why
let
not?
the cat out of the bag.
What the hell? Who cares? We're working on an album of Muppet songs. Isn't that funny? We actually are. I love the Muppets. I've always loved the Muppets. There's so many great Muppet songs, and I feel like there's a great Sinatra recording of Bein' Green that was arranged by Don Costa, and I feel like if Sinatra had been around for the Great Muppet Caper, he would have recorded all those great Joe Raposo songs, like the First Time It Happens and Couldn't We Ride, and songs like that. So that's what's next.
You got to do Rainbow Connection for sure.
That's on there.
Oh, thank
That's
God.
on there.
All right. Amazing.
Thank you, Alan.
I was just standing over there because I wanted you guys to shine,
You shine enough for the three of us.
That is true. I didn't know how awkward it was going to be standing over there. Because
you seemed fine.
It was kind of weird. I just really want to thank.
Lights went down again, so now the pressure's back on.
Right.
Now you got to close it out. Isn't that fun?
All right.
Welcome to my world, asshole.
Okay.
Yeah, how do you wrap it up in a way that feels significant and feels like it's got gravitas to it?
Well, it's been fantastic, everyone. This has been a great evening. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming here tonight. Thank you for caring about wonderful music. Thank you to everybody who graced the stage tonight to make this album what it is. Thank you to everybody at the Grammy Museum. And, of course, thank you to every single person who really gives a damn about this music to come out and support it. So make some noise for yourselves.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you to Logic.
Thank you, Logic. Yeah, man.